Anda begonnen.
Strange times. I've never seen this before. I've been around a while. I mean, when we had that peak of the COVID recession last year, unemployment went up to like 14%. Now it's down to like 4 something, and you can't get the workers. And normally when a recession hits, it takes years for the workforce to recover, unemployment rate. This time it basically was short up and down.
I can't remember.
I mean, one of the things that we're doing is we're offering casita construction. That's above and beyond buying a line. And we've had strong interest in the casita product. And they all want to know, well, when can you finish my casita?
Pat, say something.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Good, I'm not even near a mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there any lot that has not signed in yet?
Yeah, me.
Personal by proxy? If you haven't, if you go into the room in there and sign in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to get a building permit for every single one of them, and it's tough, to get. I mean, it's tough to get architects to produce the permit sets because they're all busy as heck. It's tough to get the government to issue a permit.
They're going to be 600s, right?
They'll vary in size. The smallest will be around 400, and we're hoping to get a change in the code that will actually let us go above 600.
I'm sure they'll be pretty good to build one of them.
Well, and the thing is, the code is being revised, and it will enable Cypress Woods to get casitas.
It's really nice with that there. You see them.
Oh, yeah.
They got we talked about that if they get
No.
possibly go one back there on ours,
It's a good investment because that's what the market wants.
Hey, Pat, are they trying to do the YouTube?
I don't know.
It's not on there.
Nothing on YouTube.
Nope.
Can you hear us, Pat?
Yeah, I can hear fine.
Do you hear us, Gary?
Yes.
All righty.
They're waiting on the YouTube. Nobody's been able to get it.
I think they sent one this morning. Eric was doing that.
I seen something from Brittany a while ago, I thought.
They sent it. Nobody's got it yet.
No, there's no link for residents yet.
Here's a Zoom thing. I don't know if it's going through or not. Yeah, that's different. We go top.
I don't think they ever sent the link.
Here's back forward too. So that's what I said, I don't know. You can- Yeah, I would think it's.
Snafu? Oh, yeah. Happen all the time. I don't remember staying coordinating, because quite frankly, I don't know anything about anybody. So
Yeah. Well, you don't have to.
it's like one or other.
I know. Is it worse to vote or is it, you know, not vote? We got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna mute.
We're supposed to put that YouTube link up, Pat.
I think they do it right from the computer right there.
No. Bob Burge just texted me, said. wanted to
Pat
know
and Gary, Diane's going to take care of sending out the YouTube link.
It's right on there.
Brittany normally does that, but she wasn't available this morning.
This is what I got.
What is it?
About 15 minutes ago.
No,
YouTube?
the link.
It's the Zoom thing.
Well, that's different.
That's a different one, yeah. I don't see no.
That's how to get on, but I
Zoom
need
is
the link.
what we do on shared video, but YouTube.
Yeah,
is
that's
just
what
one
Pat and I are on, Zoom.
Zoom, yeah. I don't see no YouTube on this.
No,
I
she didn't
think-
send the YouTube.
I think there's a link between the Zoom and the YouTube.
Diane's working on that right now.
Where do I get the link, Bob?
We go to apps, go to Zoom, and link with it's Zoom.
I need the
Facebook.
link. Bob who? That's Steve.
Or Steve.
Steve, do you have the link?
Bob, Steve,
Well,
George.
I have the Zoom thing.
Okay, no, I need the
No,
link
I
to
don't
the
have it. I was just
YouTube.
checking it. It's not on here.
Right here. Okay, where's the clipboard? Okay, that's what I need.
Brittany says that the Zoom should generate a link to YouTube.
Yeah, so if you go to Zoom, board meeting 11:22.
Try my Zoom thing and see if it does.
Right here? No, that's Zoom. So, okay, what's the link? Did you have to search for it?
I just went to YouTube and it popped right up.
Yeah, but you're the only one on there, so. I just need.
So he says he's got the YouTube link.
How did you get the YouTube link?
I went, opened my YouTube and it was right there.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
Just go,
YouTube's working. I don't know. I didn't
We
find,
need
I
to
didn't
hit
find the
start.
link, so I don't.
Yeah, a lot of people.
John, you just went to YouTube? Is that what you did? You just went to YouTube?
Yeah, but we need the link that people can just hit and it'll just bring it up. That's what we're looking for. He did it
So you
because
apparently saved a link from a prior meeting then?
it's a different link.
Yeah, you must have.
Well,
Because I'm on YouTube and I can't.
All right.
Yeah, Brittany's gone, so.
I'll get it. Hang on.
This is where David's.
View stream on YouTube. Here it is, right?
Hopefully she can get it.
I think it's right here. It's, here, try this. Can I just grab your phone? Okay, let me write this down here. Yeah, that's the one I have, John. So that is the link. Okay, I'll just send it out. I'll email right now.
Okay.
One step I never learned. I was always busy doing something else. And David would have it all up and ready to go by the time I was finished.
We definitely need some backup people knowing how to do it, because Brittany's gone, that's the problem. That's why apparently it didn't go out, so.
I tried that before David left, and I thought I understood it, even with notes.
Yeah,
I have to do it about 3 times before it sinks in.
right.
These sections, I know your votes count for your participation count. Okay.
Yeah.
So you represent 400.
500.
548.
548.
He came over here.
And I've
So-
tried to have you show me how to do it, so I can show you guys.
Right.
And guess what?
So we have we have 629 in attendance.
Used to be when you
in
called
Prague.
the
Oh yeah, we
office.
have
I left a
plus
message.
another 41 in person.
You ever get called back?
Just with yours, since there's just the whole section, we can count it either way.
So basically, we're using Zoom to go
No,
to
each spot's not here by person, but
Which I don't understand.
Anytime
you
I
turn in
show
a
up.
proxy. Yeah, we've got quorum either way.
Right.
So we've got it. We've got a total of 670 in attendance. Okay, so we have quorum.
Is she gonna come in and run the meeting? Or you?
That's why I asked who was presiding, which is going to be difficult in this manner, so I can preside over it.
Yeah, you might.
Or you can.
Does the board have to convene the meeting?
No, well,
I'm not sure how that works, but
most of the way it's practiced, the president typically calls to order, and then it's a call to if anybody wants to preside over it, because it's no surety, anybody can preside. And then it's a, hey, here's our business. We're going to do a last call for ballots. If you've not turned in your ballot, that will then it can be a Q&A, because typically while it's being counted, we'll actually call for response.
Situation normally after
We might want to do a Q&A.
We'll do. We're gonna have to be careful of that going down the rabbit hole, like over here. That's
Yeah, I know, but that's really only right.
we only need two.
they were provided the information. Yeah, it was out. The information was out.
What do you want to do? Let's call for ballots.
That's up to you guys.
we should just convene the meeting, say the pledge, and then open it up for,
I don't have an agenda. Diane's doing it.
Diane's
right now.
doing it
She's
now.
she's at her computer right now doing it. So, do you have an agenda, Andy? Yes. It is. Diane's doing it right now. Yep.
There should be no comment or anything like that.
What's that? What? Yeah, Pat was texting me this morning at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, yes. Okay.
Hello, good morning all. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a membership meeting of Cypress Woods. Purpose of this meeting is regarding an amendment to the governing documents. So we're going to go ahead and call to order at 10:16 a.m. If you have not signed in, I believe all of you have. Please let us know so we can get you signed in. As far as our quorum establishment, we have a total of 670 lots in attendance, which does give us quorum. Our next on our agenda is going to be just a membership Q&A discussion for the proposed amendment.
Flag.
I'm sorry. Overstep, Pledge of Allegiance. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Eric, you can do roll call.
There's no roll call.
It's not a board meeting.
Okay.
And actually, just to back up a little bit more, this being a membership meeting, I will call for if there's anybody who would wish to preside over this meeting. With none volunteers coming forward, if there's not an objection, I'll go ahead and preside over it. It's probably be easier that way with some of our board members also attending over Zoom as well. So let's go ahead and open for Q&A regarding discussion for the proposed amendments. So is this our microphone to do that? Okay. So anybody who has any questions regarding the proposed amendment, please come forward here to the podium, state your name, your unit number, and ask. Sounds loaded.
Over here, Frank.
Good morning. Frank DiMaggio, D19. The only question I have is, with the vote this important, why were we only notified 10 days beforehand? We didn't get any of the information other than a 4 or 5 page letter with a proxy in it with a few bullets on it.
So when you pull it out, you really got to line it up. And then the other thing, when they first installed it, they did it with hot water instead of cold water, just like
where are we getting our feedback from? Just a moment, I'll get to that question. I'm trying to see where our feedback is coming from. Okay, so this type, unlike our normal membership meetings where there's an election involved, it does require a process that can go out as far as 60 days. Membership meetings, when we're dealing with a proposed amendment, the documents only require a 14-day notice. So this was mailed and posted in accordance with that standard. The information I'm getting that I believe that this was also emailed out with the amendment, the size that it was. Yes, the synopsis of the changes is what was mailed out along with it, so that way you were not getting in the mail a 40-page packet. And with the email should have gone out the full amendment for your review.
Gary Snyder, C110. I would suggest that the membership meeting, there's a lot of people here that don't know exactly what's happening. They're coming up to me and so forth. I know it's a vote. I'm quite familiar with it. I would suggest you go over some of the changes and let the people know what's happening. Am I correct? There's a lot of people that would like that? Okay.
I do know that there's been a few board meetings where these changes were brought for review. I know the last board meeting that was had here, those changes were reviewed for the board to put that out to the membership for the vote. So,
I can go over this.
Okay, so Judy's going to go ahead and go over the changes.
I'm gonna go over the. Can you hear me? No. Yes. Yes. No. No.
I think you got to get closer to these.
Do I have to sit on it? Okay, so you have a little summary here, and like Eric said, we've been working on this since I think it was the end of May on all of these things. But what it does is it eliminates all of the prior original and amended language. And as you all know, we had many amendments. We had amendments that took away some things that we thought from the developer, then we had to go ahead and give them all back. And so when you're going to give out a packet of information to a new owner, it was very, very confusing. So what we did is we did a complete rewrite of the documents in that way so that we don't have the amendments currently. We acknowledge that there's going to be a sub-homeowners association known as Laguna Caribe Homeowners. They're going to be a part of our HOA as well. And Dwayne, if I'm saying something wrong, jump in. But they will have their own governing documents for their sub. It provides, again, that all of the members of Laguna Caribe will have the same rights to use all of our common areas, in that all of the preserve areas, the roads, utilities, will all be dedicated to Cypress Woods Association. The existing developers agreement with Cypress Woods shall be superseded by these amended and restated documents and shall be void. The developer's Class B member voting rights in the association will terminate once this document is recorded. He will have one vote for each of his lots. That would be 137. He currently has 548. The Board of Directors of the Cypress Woods Association shall be restructured to provide a total of 5 directors, with 1 director to be appointed by the Laguna Caribe Association and the other 4 to be elected by members owning lots in Section A through D. Laguna Caribe members shall be subject to the same rights and responsibilities to the common areas as it would apply to any other Cypress Woods Association members. For purposes of regulating the use and status of lots and Coral Club facilities within Laguna Caribe, the Laguna Caribe Association and its documents will have their exclusive jurisdiction. That's really the nut of the whole thing in here. I know a lot of people were concerned that the developer might still have his 4 votes, but he does not, and they go away.
That's correct.
Yes.
John Matthew, B25. I just, for clarification, because I know some people had this question, so I had to write it down. With 5 directors, will the current board terms reset, or will the years of the service remain where they are now? I just, if you could answer that question for me, and I think that's the only question I have right now.
Well, I can answer that. Nothing changes with any of the existing terms of the existing directors.
Okay.
We have a total of 5 directors now, so that will remain the same. So there won't be a reduction in terms of forcing anybody off the board. And I think the board was adamant, and we wanted to retain staggering of terms so that everybody wouldn't come up, at the same election.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael McMahon. My wife Marguerite and I bought D11 a little over a year ago, so this is the first board meeting that where I'm attending, and she's zooming in on it. So I was actually surprised that the vote was occurring today without any further discussion over some of these documents that I read all 36 pages closely. It really comes down, in my mind, 2 problems I have with the document and going forward, what I will have problems with. And that is the construction of the board, giving a guaranteed seat for a sub-HOA. I understand why the developer and those people might want one. But in the discussion at the last Zoom meeting, which we did attend, it was never resolved. So does I like to use phase 5 folks who guaranteed a board seat also get to vote on the other 4 members who theoretically will represent the whole board? They should not, because then it actually contradicts something in the document that says no rule shall dilute the power or the voting membership of an owner. So now, if we allow that to happen, people were guaranteed to get a seat representing the Carino Laguna, but they will also then get to vote. So an analogy, which I shared with my wife just this morning, is if you get to vote for the representative from Wyoming, but then get to vote for the representative from Utah or Montana, your vote is more powerful than the vote of the person who can only vote in Montana or Utah, but are not allowed to vote for in Wyoming. So that is just, there's no other way for me to say it. I just find that a major flaw in the document. I understand why it's there, and it benefits the developer and Carino Laguna Caribe. So I thought we were going to discuss it further this time. So could you explain how that is reasonable or fair? That's why I'm looking at them.
The objective that we had in setting that kind of structure was to make sure that Laguna Caribe always had at least, one representative in the board of directors. And the reason that was important is because elections like we're holding today, they happen once, maybe every several years. The board makes all the day-to-day decisions about management of the entire community. The board sets the budget. The board sets the assessments. Basically everything that matters, I think, to most people. The board approves the rules and regulations and so forth. So we just wanted to make sure that Laguna Caribe, which is a little different than the rest of the resort, would always be heard. One vote of 5 isn't going to give control to Laguna Caribe, but it at least ensures that they're heard. It's really not for the benefit of us as developers as much as it is for the people who are going to be buying in Laguna Caribe, because they do in fact have some different declarations that are in addition to, and in one case at least supersedes the declaration for Cypress Woods. That is control over architectural standards and the lot use standards and so forth, because there's some different products there. We'll have casitas. Casitas aren't approved yet for Cypress Woods. We think they will be. In fact, because of our application to the county commission a year ago, we requested that the county actually revise the code so that not only our project, but any resort in Lee County could actually have the opportunity to build casitas. But right now, it's only going to be in Cypress Woods. So that's the reasoning why, as to why members in Laguna Caribe would also be able to vote for other director positions. Frankly, I had proposed from the get-go, and I think the board will recall this correctly, that I proposed that we not have a vote, but apparently it came down to Florida statutes, chapter 720. You couldn't remove somebody's ability to vote for directors, even if they're in a particular sub-HOA that's guaranteed one seat. So I would have rather had it the way you described it, but the law wouldn't let us do it.
If I may, then, and I understand why it exists, then why is the other phases 1 through 4 represented by a member and they're only able to vote for that member? Do you understand that it says you can't dilute anybody's membership power, which is what you just said, correct? Right. But in effect, you are diluting the members of phase 1 through 4. So you have a direct contradiction within the document itself.
This is the way the attorney said it had to be to satisfy Florida statute 720.
Okay, may I ask, that is the attorney who wrote these for the developer, or is that the association's?
Both attorneys. Both attorneys. Okay. This was a product that was heavily reviewed by attorneys, in both corners.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
One other thing I just wanted to, that just kind of popped into my mind. Currently, the old documents that we have state that you do not have to be an owner in this resort to be on the board of directors. Once a developer is gone, any board member has to be an owner within this association. So that's a good thing for us.
If there are no other questions,
Eric, can you hear me, Eric?
yes, sir.
The other thing is, in reference to that other gentleman's question, the fact that the Laguna Caribe would be paying our association fees is what is the driving factor, that they have the same rights as everybody else. We, on the other hand, will not be paying Laguna Caribe assessments. So that's where the rub comes in. And we discussed this quite a bit with the attorneys. That's where the difference is.
Okay, thank you. And I think I was picking up a little too that there might be a confusion that Section E is going to be constructed underneath Cypress Woods like Sections A through D. Thing to remember, and to Pat's point there, is that Section E is a sub-association of Cypress Woods where Sections A through D are not. So not only will Section E be paying the same assessment to Cypress Woods that everybody in Sections A through E do, they'll also be paying an assessment to Section E as well as a sub-association. So the way that's constructed in Florida, whether you're condominium, whether you're HOA, is anytime there's a sub-association, you're part of that master association too, and you have all the same rights as anybody else that are just underneath that master association. So if there are no other questions,
I would like to know how many votes Laguna Caribe had today.
According to the current declarations and bylaws, Laguna Caribe exercises 4 Class B member votes for every lot we own, and we currently have 137 lots, so that would be a total of 548 votes through this election.
So today you had vote 548, which means who the people were here didn't make any difference. You could have had the meeting by yourself, you make everything work. So our votes meant nothing because you have 548, because it's 600 and something total.
That's according to the current documents, which everybody signed up for when they bought their lots here. That's always been the case. The developers always had Class B member votes. And as a result of this election, that will no longer be the case. The Class B member votes will be terminated.
we're here for policy and procedure. So
Mike Ryan, Lot D55. The HOA passed new rules and regulations on February 9th, 2021. Will these remain in effect?
The rules and regulations are not part of the package that we're looking at today. Those are separate. So the current rules and regulations that we have are in existence until we make any proposed changes to those.
So yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just.
Yes.
You might want to give it a minute. People are just hopping on.
Okay. Do you want to do a last call for ballots?
Yep. So this time, let's go ahead and do a last call for ballots. Does anybody have a ballot they have not yet turned in? Okay.
Why don't you bring them up? Can you bring them up to Joyce?
Joyce.
Thank you.
I'd also like to call for a few volunteers to assist in counting the ballots. Do we have any member volunteers? We'll say 3 that would like to help. Okay.
John Matthew, Doug Johnson, and I saw another hand go up in the
You want to
back.
write these down for the
Erica
volunteers?
Wheeler.
So we'll go, is that the Omni room over there?
Yes.
So with the volunteers, please go back to the Omni room. We'll be back in just a moment with the votes, or with the ballots to count. Also, I want to make everybody else here aware that any member here is welcome to go back and be present while these are being counted as well. That's part of your rights as members. Are there any other questions?
She's turning in a ballot.
Amanda, you're
anybody else has any questions, please come up to the podium.
Everyone's always so willing to help.
Are we currently in recess?
No.
No.
Jerry Phillips, C23. Just for my own, I'm at 81 years of age, I'm slow. So the new residents in this E section will be allowed to use our pool, tennis courts, all the facilities we have. Is that right?
That's correct.
When they get fully functional, will we be able to use their facilities?
No.
Pardon?
No.
No.
No. Unless you buy
If you purchase a social membership, which basically would mean you'd be paying the same additional assessments that Laguna Creed members pay, then you would be entitled to use those facilities. So we did it this way so that people wouldn't be forced to pay for facilities they didn't necessarily want to use, but it gives everybody in the resort an opportunity to become a user of those facilities, and they just pay their fair share.
Okay.
Okay, now this time, since we're ready to go ahead and count our ballots, I'd like to entertain a motion to go ahead and take the vote. Can I get a first?
I make a motion to take a first vote.
Okay, thank you. Do we want to put the meeting in recess while we do this?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we're going to go ahead and put the meeting in recess while we go back and count these votes. I'll go back with them and count, or you can introduce yourself.
Joyce has not been introduced to the.
Yeah.
That's what he's
Yep.
going to do.
We're going to let Joyce come and entertain you guys while I go back with the volunteers and count. So if you'll make your way to the stage, Joyce.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joyce Mays. I'm your new manager.
Hi, Joyce.
I'm sorry? Okay. So I'm excited to be here. I thank everybody who have come up to the office and introduced themselves. I'm really excited about being here. So thank you very much. Now I go into it. We should have music.
So all we need is coffee,
Yes,
huh?
I'm going to save all that for Monday, because I'm going to start coming to Monday.
Thanks for the answers. Wasn't as bad as I thought.
No, and, you know, the answer's not necessarily one somebody wants to hear, but they.
You go right
Sure.
ahead.
We're at D48, we heard rumors that they may allow us to do something with casitas or sheds in the future.
Well, no, that's not just hearsay. What it is right now, A through D is not allowed to have any kind of a accessory living facility. Okay, the sheds don't count as that. And when we applied for our zoning approval last year, we got approved by the county commission to have cabanas, which is essentially a casita, but you're not allowed to have an indoor kitchen or bedroom. So we asked the county commissioners to go ahead and order staff, the staff had resisted this, order staff to develop an amendment to the land development code that would allow casitas and would also make them available to adopt by what they call administrative amendment in any non-transient, which is what Cypress Woods is, non-transient. So in other words, Cypress Woods can come back as soon as that code is done, and come back and develop a proposal, which would require a little bit of engineering work to do that, and get approved. So that should be able to happen next year.
Yes. It should be bigger in size.
Right now, our approval for Laguna Creek is for up to 600 square feet. But we're actually proposing to the county, and there's a workshop on this December 7th. We have an announce it. The county commission's doing a workshop.
Are you gonna go?
Oh, yeah. You should. And what I'm going to propose to the county commission is to eliminate the 600 square foot limit and simply go to what every other single family home in the county is allowed to do, which is you're limited only by your setbacks and by your building height. And so that would let us to go with something bigger than 600 square feet. You could go 2 stories. Yes.
They move slow.
We just bought them. I was about to tear it open and work, but
You might want to wait.
You might want to wait, but it shouldn't take a real long time. I'm going to say engineering time plus processing, because it's only a minor amendment. It's not a major amendment. Within 6 to 8 months.
I don't retire for another 3 years, so I'm okay with it.
Or you can just buy one of our lots in Laguna Creek and you can have one instantaneously.
Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi. I have one. I can go get it.
Actually, also, I can go get you one and then.
Yes.
Okay, and then one other question.
He's right along.
I have to.
That's where your north gate is going into Laguna Creek. He would be down.
Your swale is supposed to be on your property. So if it was
filled in.
if it was filled in,
You're
there's
in
going to
106, right?
there's going to be a second swale that we're going to have to build, but you still have to have one on your property.
But we are getting mail.
So we haven't gone over the property line to do anything to yours, but it's possible your swale may have gotten filled in at some point.
The lines between each other, you mean? Yeah.
No, it's just the 2 lots abut against each other, and there's no common area or common drainage swales. The swales all have to be contained within the lot.
I'm here.
Our drainage is a little different in Laguna Creek than the rest. Ours is such that we have what they call closed drainage, which everything flows into a drainage pipe. Whereas in Cypress Woods, it's all surface swales.
I don't. No, you can't.
But yeah, but I need to know so I can tell.
Tom and Bob are a team. There's 4, there's Bill, and then Charlie.
Well, it'd be your property, so it'd be your problem.
Yeah.
It'll be your problem. You could talk to the architectural committee just to tell them what you want to do, but you'd have to do that. On the backside, yeah. All we did was clean that out. That was already there.
And that's all common area of the
That's-
resort.
Yeah, that was common area for the resort. The resort had cleaned that out. It sounds like the swale that's missing on yours has been filled in by a previous owner.
Yeah. They were on property.
Yeah, there was a row of vegetation that had gone onto our property too
Yeah.
that we removed up to the boundary. Well, you know, stuff sits there for 20-some years and stuff happens.
Unless you want to spread the power.
Sure.
Mr. Blower.
You're welcome.
Last year they moved our office in the center, which there's no way that should happen. But he moved us out. So now I'm trying to move it back here. I don't have.
We've got an idea, but we don't want to publish it just yet. We're going to be publishing those pretty soon, like within the next few weeks. So we want to start going to contracts on lots of But, you know, let's put it this way, we priced it such that paying the Cypress Woods fee plus our fee would still put us within sort of the midpoint of the range for
for assessment in other resorts around Southwest Florida. Well,
That's going to be owned by somebody else, right?
no, it'll be owned by the HOA, sub-HOA.
Okay, but it's going to be managed by
The sub-HOA.
the sub-HOA.
Now, we are the sub-HOA
Yeah.
until we sell lots, but there'll be a turnover
Okay.
once we get to 90% of lots sold. But the pool, the sports courts, the dog park, that'll all be year-round. What we don't know yet is how long we want to maintain food and beverage service. Because, you know, during off-season, there just aren't that many people here. Right. But that doesn't mean the facility's closed. It just means that we wouldn't be offering food and beverage. Now, you know, if there's enough demand, it means we'd be glad to leave it open year-round. I just don't think there will be. That's not something you typically see. I think most people understand generally what we're doing here and don't really have a big objection. I think they just want to see it done and not have to think about it anymore. And frankly, so are we. We want to get done, get out of here. You know, at the rate we think sales will go, we don't anticipate being here all that long. Right. Yeah. So if we can sell out within a year, fantastic. We'd love it. But we made financial plans as if it would take a lot longer, just because you have to be conservative. But I realistically think probably by the end of the 23 season in the spring, we'll probably be done. Unless some calamity hits, you know, who knows?
Oh, you're going to have to talk to Joyce.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you got to talk to Joyce.
Then I gotta run back and put it in the next one.
It should be in there. Put it in there.
All right, then I'm going to back this out.
It's interesting that people object to having a vote that we control, which the result of the vote is that we no longer control. That doesn't make sense.
We ready? Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let me get everyone's attention. We're going to go ahead and reconvene the meeting. I hope Joyce kept you all entertained. Thank you for our 3 volunteers for assisting in counting. As we all knew from the beginning, this was going to be an amendment that was going to pass, and it did. Aside from the developer votes, we actually had quite a few members that voted in favor for it as well. So what we have is 47 opposed and 634 in favor. So the amendment does pass. With no other business to be conducted, go ahead and call for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn this special session.
Seconded.
She already did.
You were in counting with us while she was entertaining everyone else.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come up and say hello to her, though.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
So we got a majority of
Yeah.
other members.
Yeah, so, well, subtract 538 from 634, you did good. I mean,
Majority.
considering, yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now we just need to build out and sell out. It's going to be a lot of fun here. This year we're not going to see that much change because we're kind of getting a late start on the season. I guarantee next
Next year will be different.
This is going to be a different place.
gonna
I
be
think
all
in a very
different.
positive way.